All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, December 10th. We have two NBA games to dive into in today's video, both NBA Cup games. This is the quarterfinals round, so we have the Bucks and the Magic taking each other on, and then we have the Thunder and the Mavs. These are both 1 versus 4 seeds for round 1 of the NBA Cup. In this video, I'm going to dive into both of those games. I'm going to give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays, like player props that we like within the game as well, but keep an eye down on the pinned comment. You'll be taken to our final plays from there. So what I'm actually rolling with myself, absolutely free, down in the pinned comment. Make sure to keep an eye on that. In terms of yesterday, we'll take another womp bump. That is 2 days in a row now that we've gone 0-2. So we're on an 0-4 run. At some point, we're due to turn this thing around, right? Both these plays I liked yesterday. RJ Barrett was an added play. We didn't talk about it in the video, and I damn sure wish I didn't add it. He finished with 30 points, but you could tell from the jump that RJ Barrett was going to be the guy there. Yes, Scotty Barnes being out was a huge factor there as well, but either way, I love that under, and he ended up finishing with 30 points. Grady Dick just didn't have the volume. I think he had 1 for 5, but one of those, the fifth one was just like a heave with 40 seconds left, so he was 1 for 4. I really wanted like 6 to 8 threes from him, attempts. So yeah, unfortunately, we'll take it again. Another womp womp. On the bright side, and I hope we do get better, guys. I hope we do get better, but on the bright side, we'll pump in some crowd noise, get the vibes back up. You feel it filling up, right? We had the bad vibes. Now I can feel the good vibes coming in, right? Breathe in the good, exhale the bad. I think George Kittle said that in a Netflix documentary. Anyways, Colin had Jakob Poeltl here under 28.5 PRA. He finished with, I believe, 26, so we shall take the dub there. Shout out to Colin, the only winner on the show from yesterday, because I went 0-2. But nonetheless, guys, if you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me your favorite play. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day and give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. I also shout you out over on my Twitter/X, as well as the Guy Boss the Sports site by the final plays. If you do win, we continue to ride with your play. So Colin, looking forward to seeing what you throw at us today. Make sure it is in an acceptable odd range so people can jump on board. But if you lose, we do have to talk about it. We got to drop the womp bump and all that good stuff. And even though we're riding with Colin today because he won yesterday, make sure to get your ride of the days in the comments for 2 reasons. If Colin doesn't give us one right on time, and secondarily, you're helping a ton of other people out in the comments. Just because you don't get picked for a ride of the day, there's a bunch of people that are looking for ride of the day plays because they're people's favorite plays for the day, right? So go ahead and drop those hashtag ride of the days in the comments. But let's jump into game number 1 here. Bad taste in my mouth from last night. Now we have some NBA Cup, meaning we shouldn't have any blowouts or anything like that, where guys, I think teams should be trying a little bit harder. Let's see what we got here. We're starting it off with the Bucks taking on the Magic. In this spot, Bucks are 7-point favorites. I've seen some 7.5s out there as well, so obviously you want to get the best price available. Total sitting at 213. Now, there is some injury news to talk about here. We'll get to the Bucks in a second, but on the Orlando side of things, Franz Wagner is now going to, I think he's reevaluated for his torn oblique, right, in 4 weeks. So he's out now. Banchero's been out. No Gary Harris. Jonathan Isaac game time decision. So that's a huge blow for Orlando. Like I talked about in yesterday's video, or one of the recent videos, how much does that stink for Orlando? They were hanging on by a thread, and they were hanging on when Banchero went down, and they kind of proved a lot of people wrong that, hey, we can still win, we can still win, we can still win. I don't know if they can keep up this sort of pace and whatnot without, Banchero and without Franz Wagner. Now, obviously, you look at how they've, I guess, played without him so far, and yeah, they looked okay against Phoenix, so I give them credit there. Phoenix hasn't been all that great on the road, but in an NBA Cup game right at the same time where I feel like Milwaukee is starting to turn somewhat of a corner. Milwaukee's 8-2 in their last 10 games. Their only 2 losses against Boston, okay, in Boston, understandable, they still covered there, and then against a red-hot Hawks team the game prior. So I think this Milwaukee team is looking pretty good. I have to lean Milwaukee in this one. I will say, like I said, we'll get to the injuries for the Bucks. Giannis is a big factor. He's listed as a game time decision. He's listed as probable. Same thing with Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton, they've been dealing with, obviously, so that's not a big deal. But if Giannis doesn't play, then yeah, I'm going to be like, all right, well, I don't think I want to touch this, right? I don't like the Bucks at -7 without Giannis. I do think, I still don't mind the Bucks with Dame and whatnot if they dump down to -3 if Giannis doesn't go. But he's listed as probable. He most likely plays. So give me the Bucks here in this spot. And I will say, if you do like Orlando and still believe in them, then one, credit to you, but two, there are a couple lanes you can take to say, hey, this might work out. So the Bucks have been scoring in the paint, not too frequently this year, but when they do, that's sort of their recipe to success, right? Orlando's been very, very good at shutting down points in the paint, but where the Bucks like to score and where they truly have been trying to force the issue and whatnot is from three. Top 10 in points from three so far this season. Orlando, you think of that team that, can lock up the paint and whatnot, but they're the third best team in terms of opponent points from three allowed this season. So yeah, there is still a defensive sort of mindset and a defensive angle to take to get to Milwaukee, to get to Orlando, especially plus 7 points against Milwaukee. But to me, I just struggle with where the hell are the points going to come from, right? Like, I understand that their lineup is decent with Suggs, Pope, De Silva, Carter, Batadze. Like, all these guys have stepped up and whatnot. But again, Franz Wagner going down. I know we saw them without him already, but a lot of times after a guy gets injured, the team rallies. Do they do it the next game? And that's where I'm just kind of selling right now. I don't believe in it. So yeah, call me a hater or whatnot on a team that's been kind of the underdog story and been really fun to watch. But give me Milwaukee minus the 7 points. That total at 213. If the Bucks win this one, I do think that they score a decent amount of points. I think it goes over. So maybe even a Bucks team total over, excuse me. If the Magic win, I think that they played their asses off defensively, and it's an under. So if you're on the Bucks side, I do think an over could be in play here. Potentially a Bucks team total over as well. If you like the Magic, then maybe that is more of an under type of a game, or maybe a Bucks team total under because they gave him fits defensively. Because again, at least take it from me, a guy that's gone 0-4 in his last 4 plays, right? This Magic team, I just can't really see where the points are going to come from. So if they're going to win, it's going to come via defense. I do believe. I do declare. All right, guys, real quick, before we move into game number 2, sleeper picks. If you had not tried it out, you are absolutely missing out on one of my favorite DFS apps out there. It's available in most states, and if you sign up today, you're going to get two amazing things. You're going to get an amazing deposit bonus, right? You're also going to get this Shai Gilgeous-Alexander line. His normal line is 31.5 points. They've knocked it down to 0.5. So, yeah, I do think that he'll get at least 1 point in this NBA Cup game. If you're not aware what Sleeper is, like I said, it's a DFS app. You pick more or less based on player set projections. Obviously, we'd be taking more for this 0.5 line, and then you pair it with other projections that you have as well. The more you get correct, the more you get paid out. You can win up to 100 extra money over on Sleeper, and like I said, you're going to get an amazing deposit bonus as well. But what I think is cool about Sleeper is the fact that each and every play you throw into that entry of yours, that slip, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, and more entries into that one slip, right? Each player that you put in there will change the odds and the payout of that slip dynamically. They don't follow a fixed payout structure and 2 for 2 is 3x or 3 for 3 is 5, like that type of thing. No. Each and every play you throw in there changes the payout, which is really, really cool. If you pick more of a long shot play, you're going to get paid out for that long shot, and safe play, vice versa, that type of thing. Really cool. If you guys are not on Sleeper yet, go ahead and try it out. I have a link in the description as well as the pinned comment. I only push a few different things on this channel, right? Because they're all things that I use myself. I've used Sleeper for like 2 years now, and it's definitely one of my favorites. Take advantage of the promos that they drop as well. I think tomorrow they'll be doing Wildcard Wednesdays, which are discounted plays. So go ahead and check it out. Link down below in the description as well as the pinned comment. Let's jump back into this slate here. We got one more game to talk about. Real quick, guys, as we go to the next game, or before we go to the next game, I did want to cut in here and say that I do have a couple player props that I considered for that first game, the Bucks and Magic. Didn't end up talking about it because I'm a dummy and I forgot. But 2 player props that I've considered would be Brook Lopez's under PRA, and then Bobby Portis's under in rebounds / under rebounds and assists. I like both of these matchups for the Magic. I talked about points in the paint and whatnot. Brook Lopez hasn't been shooting all that well, so I'm not worried about the points all that much. And this is a good rebounding Magic team this year. They should be able to, I would say, win the rebound war against this Milwaukee team that has not been rebounding all that well. Like Brook Lopez, their starting center's line for rebounds is like 4.5, right? So obviously that's a tough one. But Bobby Portis off the bench, 7.5 rebounds. For him to grab 8 rebounds off the bench and what he's been playing, only like 25, 27 minutes of play, I think is a little bit too much. So yeah, Bobby Portis under in rebounds, then Brook Lopez under in PRA are 2 player props that I meant to mention, but this dumb brain forgot about it. All right, moving on to game number 2. This should be a good one. We have the Thunder taking on the Mavs right now. Mavs sitting at 4.5-point dogs on the road. Thunder at home here, favored, and they've been really good at home this year, 9-2 straight up against the spread when they are at home. They've covered in 55% of games. That totals at 231.5. Let's start with the spread here. So from a spread perspective, I do think it's going to be a close game, as would the spread indicate, right? Overall, though, this is a spot in which I do think that if the Thunder elect to shoot in the paint, they should be able to kind of have their way. But unfortunately, restricted area field goal attempts over the last 10 games, they've had the 7th fewest in the league. They've been shooting the 4th most above the break threes. So if this turns into a 3-fest, the Mavericks have the edge. And just based on that data alone, I think I'll take the Mavericks in this spot because I think it's going to be a close game. And if they lock up the perimeter, then sure, you're feeding, if the Thunder, I should say, shoot a lot from the perimeter, you're just feeding right into what Dallas most likely wants you to do. This Dallas team, points allowed from 3 this season, 4th best team in the league, but they're the 8th worst team in terms of points in the paint allowed. So if you're on the Thunder, I'm going to go with the underdog here, but if you're on the Thunder, you're definitely crossing your fingers and hoping that the Thunder say, hey, let's screw it. Let's make sure to get in the paint. Now, they do shoot in the paint more than at the restricted area. They're a top 10 team in terms of in the paint. When you think about in the paint versus restricted area, essentially that charge circle, the restricted area, take that to the foul line. That chunk of court is the zone of in the paint, okay? So yes, if they do that, then they'll look okay. They're also shooting the 4th most mid-range shots, which, in the last 10 games here, Dallas, 32% allowed field goal percentage against from the mid-range. Like, the defense in Dallas, I don't think should be slept on here. So I'm going to lean towards an under as well as Dallas plus the 4.5 points. But like I said, if you like OKC, I obviously get it, right? This is a very, very good team. They are the 1 seed here. In the West quarterfinals. Like, I understand why someone might like the Thunder. I just don't know if I see the volume from in the paint from them to kind of roll with them as favorites here. And I know that 4.5 is a small number, but when you're getting the plus 4.5, that could be big. That's a 3, and that's essentially one possession that could matter greatly in a close game, right? So yeah, I see this Thunder angle here, but I do think that this Dallas team is being slept on defensively overall. You have the 8th best defensive efficiency team in Dallas going up against the number 1 in OKC. So leads to the under as well too. But give me the Dallas Mavericks as well as that under 231.5. Now, a couple player props here. I have 3 of them and they're all under. So I guess it's a big under day today. By the way, we mentioned, I did like 2 unders in that Milwaukee game, Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez. I'll probably do like an edit to kind of cut in. But anyways, those 2 I like. In terms of what we have from this game, I have Shea, Jalen Williams, and Daniel Gafford. We'll get into all their unders. I like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander under 1.5 3-pointers made. Now, this is plus 155 right now. Would I like it if it's like plus 110, plus 105? No, he's only hit the under in 9 of 23 games this season. That's because he's shooting a ton of volume. He's had some games, and he's not the best shooter, right? He's had some games which he shot 12 times, 10 times, 10 times. And in his last game against Dallas here, though, that was earlier, actually about a month ago, he only had 1 3 on 1 attempt, right? And that was a 121-119 game, a very close game. Before that, he's hit the under in 6 of 11, but you're dating back to 2023. Why do I like this? Well, what did I mention about Dallas's defensive strength and Dallas's defensive weakness, right? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander should be under the mindset of, I can get to the rim against these guys. I don't need to step back and take a 3. So I don't think the volume's going to quite be there. And this is a 33% 3 shooter this season. You know what I mean? Like, if he shoots 3 threes, then he's bound to make 1. But even if he starts to shoot 5 or 6, like, he still needs to shoot a really good percentage to make 2 of those. I mean, 2 of 6 would be 33. But again, he needs 6 attempts. He only had 1 last time he faced off against Dallas, and it was his lowest of the season so far. So I'm expecting less volume from Shea above the arc and more volume from say, hey, yeah, let me get into the paint, let me get to the rim and score some points. So this is a volume play. Moving on, same stat line. We're looking at Jalen Williams under 2.5 3-pointers made. He's hit the under in 14 of 23, which is 61% of his games. You look at it from a home perspective, he's hit the under in 64% of his games. Last time he played Dallas, he did have 3, but he's gone under in 7 of his 11 last games against Dallas. So I still do think that there's some viability there. In terms of, obviously, he's getting the start at what's the technical power forward position. Dallas doesn't look all that great, but he's going to play a little bit more around the perimeter, so I wouldn't stamp that power forward position on him, right? He's kind of playing everywhere. So Dallas covering the perimeter takes precedent to me over that position-specific spot because he's not a true power forward. Now we're talking about a guy on the Mavs side of things for our third and final player prop here. Daniel Gafford under 10.5 points. I've also thought about under his 16.5 rebounds plus points plus rebounds. He's been crushing these lines, guys, overall, like truly has. But to me, I already mentioned why I like the Thunder. If you are betting the Thunder today, it's about controlling that paint and being defensive. Daniel Gafford's going to come off the bench here, and he's exclusively going to shoot in the restricted area, which are the Thunder are the #1 team in the league at preventing. Last time he played them, yes, he did have, I think it was 11 points, so he went over by half, and he only played 17.9 minutes, almost 18 minutes. So there's a lot of recent history against them that would make you think, oh boy, that's not the best play. But even still, the Thunder have gotten better and better defensively, right? Even after Chet Holmgren goes out, they've kind of stepped up in a big way. And now, given the fact that I would say Hartenstein down there is a little bit more of a brute, right? So Daniel Gafford may even get less attempts than normal because he's not going to have the back down hook shot that he might have against a skinny guy like Chet Holmgren. Hartenstein's going to be a little bit more of a brute down there. So yeah, I don't mind this spot overall for Daniel Gafford to maybe score like 8-9 points. He'll probably get close, but I do like the idea of under 10.5. Guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you made it this far in the video, do me a favor, all right? Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet, but comment 16 if you made it this far into the video. I love doing that. Quick rant. I like doing it. I know I've said it a million times on the channel, but I love reading the comments from the guppies being like, what the heck does 16 mean? And I'm like, if you knew, you knew. And there's nothing wrong with someone skipping around in the videos. It is YouTube. I've done it myself on other videos and whatnot. I get that. But obviously I make these videos with the intent that everyone watches every second. Is that plausible? Maybe not all that realistic, but still, I'm not making videos with the intent that people skip around, right? So when you see the 16, or when you hear me say 16 and you comment 16, like, it really does hit me as like yeah, that's a real one. And then I get the comments sometimes of being like, not gonna lie, I skipped around and just heard 16. Fair enough, you got me there, but overall, that's the reason why we do it. I think it's funny for me to see someone be like, what's 16 mean? But then also secondarily, like, yeah, I'd be lying if I was saying, no, it's okay if you skip around. It's like, no, I want someone to watch every single second of this annoying voice and character, like, to me, that's the point of making the video. So when you comment 16, it tells me that there's a slight chance you might have just done that. But guys, I know the picks the last couple days have not been all that great. There's tons of other places out there that have better picks, I'm sure, but hopefully we're still contributing to your daily routines and whatnot, having a good time talking some basketball. You're gonna have winning nights, losing nights. Hopefully we can win in the long run, hopefully, but we're still gonna show up and make some damn good videos. So yeah, rant over. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.